Okay. All right. Okay. How do we look?
Good.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Guess what? First thing I want to do is congratulate you. You made it to see a new day. You're now watching the Unks in the building. UNCSIN. The building. I'm not gonna spell it all out this time. You're now in tune with the resident Unk, Byron, and my lovely wife, Stacy.
Hello.
Auntie Stacy to some. We're gonna go through some Reddit stories, and I do hope you stay to the end and enjoy every moment of it. Okay.
This one comes from the subreddit, Am I Overreacting?
Oh, this sounds engaging.
3 hours
heard
ago.
that before. Okay, and we recent. Let's
Am
go.
I overreacting that my wife hung out with a single coworker one-on-one in her hotel room?
Okay. Let's pause for a second. We're not even gonna make it. We're not gonna make it 15 minutes through this story. 5 minutes. Your significant other, one-on-one in a hotel room, and this is supposed to be a coworker. Mm-hmm. She won't. Yeah. Folks, infidelity can only occur when the stars line up just right and you push past that moment of I shouldn't do this. Okay, it's the only time it can occur. You need to be one-on-one with this person. You need to take your clothes off. You need to get naked. And unless
But we didn't say that happened,
I know
sir.
that, but I'm just let me.
Oh.
Because unless all of that lines up, it's not possible to actually have a moment of intercourse. Right? You got to be somewhere one-on-one with this individual doing that. Now, we're going to talk about the second thing. Second thing is a workplace spouse. Okay. You are with your coworkers more than you're with your spouse unless your spouse is your coworker. If you do not have your own business, oftentimes you're spending 8, 9, 10 hours with these people at work. These people at work, depending on the environment, become your family because you spend so much waking hours with them. As a result, you will start to have familial dynamics with these people. You're going to get you a workplace spouse. Even if it doesn't become a sexual attraction or anything like that, it's going to happen. I got a problem with this. Because that dynamic, you got to say, oh, cut this off, go home. That's it. One-on-one in a hotel room? Keep going. But first of all, sir, no, automatically you are not overreacting because you should not, as a female, be one-on-one with a man in a hotel room at all. Ever. If you have respect first for your husband or boyfriend, even if y'all ain't even there. If you have respect for that individual, you're not finna be in a hotel room with no other dude. I don't care if it's for 15 minutes. No, sir. No, ma'am. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, it would be a problem. It'll be a problem. And this ain't about trust. You might be able to trust your significant other, but that other person, I don't know what they'll do. Go ahead.
All right. Am I overreacting that my wife hung out with a single coworker one-on-one in her hotel room?
No.
My wife and I, let me get this story.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sir? My wife and I have been married 5 years. The marriage is, in my view, great. Mm-hmm. We communicate well, have similar interests, similar values, etc.
They do taxes together.
It is a very trusting relationship. We have full access to each other's phones, emails, etc. She is my best friend. My wife is emotionally invested in her coworkers, meets them for drinks, brings them sweets on birthdays, etc. I fully support this. I even help her do it. She often expressed a desire to meet one older co-worker or mentor who was fully remote from the other side of the country. This made sense to me in a way. It is very weird to work hundreds of hours per year with someone and never see them in real life. She was flown midway across the country for a week of training. I was happy for her to attend. She pitched the idea of using her company plane ticket to fly the remainder of the way across the country to have dinner with this person. Spend the night in a hotel and come home the next morning. I felt weird about the idea, but since it was lumped in with the work trip, I did not object. Modern life is weird and creates weird circumstances.
It's that man's intuition. You know, you had the man's intuition at that moment. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Trust has built a great relationship so far. Support her. She flew in to meet the person, had dinner and drinks, and then they went back to her hotel room to watch a funny show. Now, this is in quotes. And then they went back to her hotel room to watch a funny show. We talked some, and then I was too tired, so I went to sleep and he went home. I could not believe the text I read. I never imagined she'd invite a divorced man to her hotel room alone. I believe her when she says nothing happened. She could have cheated, but her intimacy is so driven by connection. I am skeptical it happened the first time they met. But I don't know. I don't even know what I'm asking for. I feel like my world is ending. If anyone has any words, I would appreciate them. Signed, a confused, formerly trusting husband. Edit. Thanks for all the replies. I will update tomorrow.
My goodness. Okay, so we're gonna put a asterisk next to everything that I already said, right? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. I had a moment. I was like, you know, I felt like Wolf on Wall Street. I'm not leaving. So I felt like, no, I'm not. I'm not going. Because that's out of pocket.
Yes.
I don't care what anybody says. Okay. You might, and this is just me trying my best to give her the benefit of the doubt.
No, they're okay.
Just let me try. I'm trying to if I try, because I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, her shoes in those cases, this case. Try to see it from the other side to see if I can even try to make this make sense and any level of logic. She might have in a trusting relationship if they were all at the same venue when she first took that flight.
And they were all there.
They were all there.
The extra
and it was
flight is
like,
egregious.
Hey, let's hang out. We went for drinks, came back. We weren't done talking. It was cool. We chopped it up for a bit. Then they left. It's already egregious for them to go back to her room.
That was unnecessary.
You need to go home.
Talk as much as you need to talk in the lobby.
In the lobby, in the restaurant,
and
wherever.
Go home. Going up to the room is wild.
That's already egregious. Now, folks, please trust your spouse if you can. And I love they shared each other's phones, got each other's passwords, trusting, whatever. Coming back to the room is out of pocket. I don't.
Okay, the first out of pocket was the flight.
The first, that's what I was saying. That was me giving her the benefit of the doubt if it was at the venue, the first venue. Now, when you're talking about, I'm going to use my airline miles to go see this guy further across the country because I feel like we need to meet, to have dinner, invite him upstairs, and the only solace you got is, oh, well, normally she, from my understanding, needs more of a connection than that to be able
Excuse me, she's worked with the man for over a year. She talks to him almost every day, it sounds like. The only time you want to fly to see somebody is if you have a connection. So sorry,
I
buddy.
don't think...
That ain't right.
Yeah,
something ain't right.
The connection
You think you could come to me? You see how the Trini's coming out. You think you could come to me?
Bruh.
And be like, yo, I'm flying to Vegas for work, but...
Then I'm going to fly to California or further out west,
wherever, to see
some
ex-lady chick, because I always work with her and I never see her. I would have tell you to go and stay over there. You better stay over there and not come back.
What is that? Like, no, we're not doing that. That's, sir, you are not overreacting. I stand by what I said. It's too much that can go wrong. And maybe you trust your wife, but I wouldn't trust that dude. Because the thing is, if he is an animal of any sort,
excuse me.
If he's an animal of any sort, here's what's happening. Why? But I'm angry just from the standpoint of you have disrespected my marriage.
Correct.
Your coworker, bump what you did now, because you already out of pocket, but now your coworker has disrespected my marriage. Because you don't go back to no married woman's room, period. There's no show funny enough. There's no movie entertaining enough. There's no conversation deep enough where I'm going to leave from a restaurant and go back upstairs to a single woman's room in order to do what? I don't know. I don't like it. I never will like it. I'm not going to be on board with it at all. There's no way you can make me say this is okay. So no, sir, you are not overreacting. Everything that you are thinking, I'm not going to say that it may have happened, but there definitely needs to be a conversation about that. No.
So the top comment was totally out of line.
Out of pocket.
First time meeting him, it should have remained in public.
Definitely.
Frankly, I find a married person booking a flight to meet a coworker weird, but to each their own, I guess.
No, that's weird.
Someone else says, the whole extra flight thing is what blows me away.
Absolutely.
I could see if this person was attending the same training meeting, like what you said.
What I said.
Meeting up, but taking a flight to meet a coworker is weird.
Insane.
Someone else says, her intimacy is so driven by connection, quotes.
She got connection.
And who's to say she didn't receive a strong... Right. And who's to say she didn't have a strong connection with someone she has talked to and known for quite some time?
Whole year.
Just never met in person.
FaceTiming. There's a connection there, sir. You will be in denial to think that she's worked with this person, laughing, joking on Zooms and all this other stuff. You know, we gotta see each other in person. I'm gonna go out for drinks, catch a flight. She just been flued out on her own dime.
She flew out on her own.
Nah, I'm good.
So
can't do it.
Consensus: he's not overreacting.
Consensus is 100% possibly underreacting.
Right.
Possibly underreacting.
But you know, a lot of women will be like, no, it's my friend. That's my brother.
Okay, so
you gotta respect that. I've known him forever.
You know how I feel about that. There ain't no opposite sex friend, brother. No. Not coming up to your room to chop it up. And let me tell you something. As when a man...
And you know what's weird? Sorry to cut you off. You know what's weird? Why are you texting me?
I'm going to let you finish, but I'm just playing.
Why are you texting me this?
It's almost like she wanted him to be...
No, but why is she texting? He's like, I can't believe I read that text. Like, nigga, where's the call? Like, FaceTime me call. Like, where's the call?
She wanted him to be angry, I think.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think this is a taunt. What happened, man? You know what? This is disrespect because he's too soft. I think she ready to cheat. I think she probably cheated.
Who flew all the way? She flew all the way and didn't do it?
She went over there and she was like, you know what? My husband lets me do... So I knew this young lady, right? This young lady she had this dude who loved her socks off. We'll just say that. Absolutely loved her, from what I hear. She was not into him. when I asked, because she was a few years my junior, why you ain't entertaining this young fella who really? Oh, because he lets me do whatever I want to do. He's a pushover. And I was like, this is something is broken here. Mm-hmm. So I started talking to her crazy. I was just doing it to prove a point. I started talking to her crazy because whatever. When I did, she shut down. And I said, well, so let me help you understand something, right? You don't want a man talking to you crazy and controlling you, because this is how you're reacting when I'm being assertive. You can't handle that. You got a man that's being really good to you. Now, I wasn't trying to talk to her because she was, like I said, she was maybe at the time, I think she was like 4 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. And I was probably in my early 20s. I just wasn't going to do it. Anyway, not early 20s. Both of us was grown, but whatever. That wasn't a tree I was barking up. I just knew this individual. And it was like, you shut down, and I'm sitting here like, this is the problem. You're sitting here passing on what you're telling me is a good guy, and you're asking for something you don't really want, because if this man starts talking to you like this, you can't handle a man being like what you say you want. You can't even handle it in a regular conversation. How are you going to handle somebody being in a relationship with them long term? And you can't handle it in this 5 minutes I'm dealing with you right now. Mm-hmm. You know, what you got is what you need. This is what you need. But you need to start respecting what this guy is doing for you, instead of causing problems for him and treating him like dirt just because you can. So what that ends up, you by yourself. That's what it ends up. Anyway, no, sir. She's out of pocket.
All right, here we go. This story comes from the subreddit 2 Hot Takes. Shout out to that other podcast, 2 Hot Takes, Morgan and her crew. Love the subreddit. So my sister, 32 female, called CPS on my husband and I. Now that the case has been closed, I have no idea how to confront her. My sister and I have always been close. Every year she spends Christmas Eve sleeping over with her fiance, male 31, and helps us get toys from Santa built and set up for Christmas morning. We call ourselves Santa's helpers and have a lot of fun with it. This year she spent the night and saw my husband and father disciplining our son, male 13. Our son is now a teenager and likes to ignore us when we ask him to do something. Pretend he doesn't know how to do something incredibly simple, slams doors, general teenage sassy behavior. His teachers at school notice it as well, so it's something we're working on at home. Our discipline style is somewhere between tough love and talk it out. Every time a conflict at home arises, my son does the argue, flip out, then run upstairs and slam the door thing. My husband will wait 10 minutes and go upstairs and have a heartfelt, meaningful dialogue with him. This happened on Christmas Eve. He told his 3-year-old sister Santa wasn't real, and we both immediately told him that wasn't okay. And he started arguing with us. It led to the same typical back and forth. The difference was my sister and her fiancé were present. Neither of them said anything and we went about our usual Christmas Eve routine. Everything seemed fine. Our son apologized and went to bed. Upon his return to school after break, a CPS worker showed up and pulled him out of class to interview him about how his parents treat him. He told them he loved his parents and that things at home were fine. He expressed that when we discipline him, we sometimes ground him and we take away his electronics for a week, and sometimes he will argue with us. But he knows that when we discipline, that we do it because we love him and want him to grow and learn. Now a little detail about the month of December and its difficulties. I have a seizure disorder. I have not had a seizure in 10 years. And in the month of December, out of nowhere, I had three back-to-back seizures. I was sitting at my neurologist's office preparing for an EEG sleep study when I got a call that goes to voicemail from the same CPS worker saying the next day she would be coming to our house to interview us and our 3-year-old. I immediately shared the number and voicemail, talked to my husband and told him to call her back immediately because I couldn't. So the very next day, after an exhausting round of seizure tests, she came over. When she arrived the next day, we got a better picture of the accusations made against us. Number 1, she claimed my husband was an alcoholic with anger issues. Number 2, she claimed we were starving our 3 children and there was no food in the house. To answer the first accusation, it was Christmas Eve. All of our family was there, drinking eggnog or wine. No one in the house got slosh except for my sister, who drank an entire 18-pack of beer to herself that night. We do not have a drinking problem. It was a holiday with my family and a delicious meal I spent all day preparing. My husband does not have anger problems whatsoever. We were upset at what our son said to his sister, but not in any way that would justify saying anyone in this house has anger issues. My dad and my husband pulled our son aside to talk to him about it. I really don't understand this one. To answer accusation 2, as the CPS worker toured our house, we showed her our pantry, fridge, and freezer. She literally laughed out loud and said, "There's enough food here to feed everyone in this house for 3 months." We are absolutely not starving our kids at all, and that was obvious right away. When the CPS worker was packing up to leave, she stated, "I'm grateful to be handling a case in a functional home with happy, healthy kids. Usually it's quite the opposite." Today she called us back and said she's closing the case by the end of the day. She does not believe any further action is needed and our risk score is low. Upon talking to my parents and my brother, all agreed that this was for sure my sister based on her talking with her themselves, though she has not outright admitted it. All agreed that this was the last thing my family needed while dealing with my health issues and restructuring our lives and schedules around the reality that I can't drive, so 6 months, so I can't work. I think that's it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. There's one more part. My husband and I see this as a major betrayal. I'm still reeling from the reality that a family member I've always been so close with and trusted would make such an impulsive, dishonest, and quite frankly, cruel decision like this. I have spent weeks trying to figure out how to confront her, as she has not fully admitted to doing this, but has heavily implied it to everyone who's spoken to her. She went from being overly communicative the day of the interview, demanding I call her and tell her how it went, and generally blowing up my phone, to being silent and not speaking to me for weeks after I told her it went fine. I believe she knows I assume she did this. I want to have a conversation with her, but I do not know how to do it. I feel betrayed by my sister and incredibly hurt. I do not want to react emotionally, but I do want her to know that this was wrong. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Crazy.
That sums it up. That one word, crazy. I need more, honestly, because the motive.
More?
No, I need more, because the thing is, to have a commentary on it beyond something's really wrong with that sister. Because I'm like, what's happening here that just led to you randomly being like, is it just jealousy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is it we have somebody who is like, you're living my life. You're living the life I want. So I'm going to try to ruin your life. Because once you get that blue folder, it's there.
Right.
You know, it's like,
it's on the record, right? Nothing bad can happen.
To have this case be positive and healthy or whatever the lady said. You have a folder now, and that exists. And whether you did anything or not, isn't that public record?
I'm not sure, but I know there's a record like if this kid ever complains about something or whatever, it's
you're going down.
Yeah, and the teachers, I'm sure, have to be asked about it at school. Well, he was approached at school.
Yeah, he was.
So they already know that there's something that came up. So, it's never a good thing. You don't want that.
No, the whole situation is out of pocket. is when you talking about child protective services, there's, I think that's a line you just don't cross with somebody.
Right.
Even if you're talking about, hey, I just don't like them. Like, don't play with that, because people will get their kids snatched. I don't know if you remember, there was one situation, I think the couple was vegan.
Yeah.
And the kid was fine for all
Right.
intents and purposes, but then the nurse whoever saw them was like, yeah.
I think it was they didn't want to get the shot at that time, or they asked why did they need the shot.
Some kind of shot.
Some
Something
kind
they
of
didn't want
shot.
to give them.
Yeah.
And then people was like, yeah, guess what? You're never going to see your kid again. I don't even know the end of that story to know if they even got
It was
the kid
very
back.
traumatic. The kids were taken away, and then they got their kids back. But it was a while, maybe like 4 weeks or something.
I thought it was longer than that. It was something ridiculous where it's like, yo, these people shouldn't be stripped of their child. It's
and
like,
that's just a lot of trauma, because now will they
Yeah.
ever even trust to go back to a doctor?
yeah.
I don't know. We experienced things like that where it almost happened, like when we found that mole on our kid's head.
Right.
When
She
they
got
were
a
the ones who
birthmark
caused her
and
to
then-
lose her hair, first of all.
Right.
And we found a birthmark on her hair when she was a baby, because she used to have hair. They told us to use whatever remedy we chose to use, and it made her lose all her hair. We saw the birthmark, and the doctor. We brought her to the doctor to be like, okay, is this a birthmark? Is it a mole? What is it? And they were like, well, did something happen? No. Well, we're not gonna. What did she say?
It's something ridiculous. Like, it was just kind of like,
We're not gonna be upset,
it doesn't
or we're
look
not
like,
gonna report this.
Yes, I'm not going to report this because it doesn't look anything
Malicious.
like no foul play or something like that.
I was
they
like,
use.
what?
Like just talking to a couple 12-year-olds that then dropped their baby or something like that, and I'm sitting here like, this kid isn't hurt. They're not screaming. We're just trying to say if there's something we need to do differently after you all gave us bad advice on how to take care of this kid's hair.
But I don't want to always bring race into things, but that definitely felt like a race situation.
Man, look. So, needless to say, we switched doctors after two
An amazing black doctor.
two different
Experiences completely
with
different
these
experience.
places. People pretending to know you're a kid. I'm like, man, I have a pretty good memory with faces. I've never seen you before in my life.
And we were going,
works.
when she was newborn, she had to go to the doctor a lot.
And they were just sending in various no, that's not a good look. Moral of the story is, even when somebody recommends somebody, make sure you vet that situation, and the moment you feel uncomfortable, leave. That's the way we're gonna sum that situation up.
But in terms of this story,
is
what
out
are
of
your
pocket.
thoughts?
So here's what came to mind. It all stems from jealousy, right? That's what it seems like to me. If you're talking about somebody coming over, I don't even know. It doesn't even make sense. That was like for them to do that just out of the blue. That's why I said I need some more information. Like, something feels like it's missing.
In terms of their relationship?
Yeah,
Well,
something is missing. Like, okay, well, what happened where you would go from, oh, we're best friends, we're so close, they're doing this stuff together all the time, then all of a sudden she flips the switch and loses her mind to the point of trying to mess you up to where you would lose your kid. Obviously, you weren't as close of family members as you thought.
That's exactly right. And the thing is, I have been in those situations where I think people are on my team and I love them and care about them as much as they do, care about me, and then come to find out they secretly hate you.
Right. It's a competition going on inside their head.
They like you until you start to do better. Or move out of the role that you normally were in with them, and then it doesn't work anymore. And then they throw a hissy fit and you realize, oh, this was about you feeling a certain way about me, and you're only comfortable with me being in a certain position.
Yeah. I may have spoken about this before, but I like to celebrate my friends. Maybe
Yes.
even to the point of gassing them up about small stuff. Like, we're going to make small stuff big. You know, you might not even care about it that much, but we don't get celebrated enough just in general. People don't get celebrated enough in general. You don't hear good job. You don't hear you're a good person, a good woman, good man. You don't hear it.
I think especially men.
Especially men. And I think that everybody doesn't move that way. And for some people, quite frankly, it's hard for them to do it even if they want to. But they get into situations and they end up revealing themselves to be exactly what you spoke of, which is this unspoken competition thing that happens. And it's hard for people to see you living the life that they want. That's hard. It's like, you know, I've realized that that can lead to a lot of problems, especially if you seemingly win fast, not recognizing the sacrifice that you have made. That's the thing, is like, I don't envy anybody. You know, every once in a while I had those moments where I would have been like, dang man, I wish I could da. But as far as envying anybody, it doesn't happen. Because I know that oftentimes there's a lot of sacrifice that comes in behind the scenes. There's a lot of people who are living a good life, and you don't know the hours or the days or the years they put in sacrificing in order to make that good life happen. You don't know. It's like there's some people who, you know, they might luck up. Okay, it does happen, but sometimes it's a lot of losing that happens before that win happens. And when you look at somebody's highlights, this is what I tell my sister, like, you can't get enamored with what you see on Instagram, because some people are, but most people aren't posting their lowlights. They're not posting when they're losing, when they're crying themselves to sleep, when they're having a mental breakdown at their job. They're not posting that. All you see is the congratulations. You see the celebration of life. You see I'm getting married, or I'm having a kid. You're not seeing the infidelity. You're not seeing we've been going to the fertility clinic for the last 5 years and struggling and dropped $20,000 into this. Mm-hmm. You're not seeing
self-doubt. You're not seeing the anxiety attacks. The imposter syndrome that hits when people, you're not seeing any of that. You're just seeing, hey, I'm winning. It's like the same couple, and you're talking about this is the goal. Don't sleep in the same room. Or they might have an amazing relationship, but maybe there are other parts in their life that are big gaps that you have. It's just about not being jealous of somebody's. You don't know the ins and outs, and certain things are just not for you.
But like some things
are just not for you. It's not your thing.
Right. And the other part of it is you can't be mad at somebody having something you want when you aren't willing to sacrifice what it takes to be able to get that thing.
Or to do the work.
If I looked at somebody and be like, this person has a 6-pack, and I want one of those. I'm hating because they got a 6-pack. And I'm sitting here like, but you also like snacks. Bro, you like Five Guys. You eat French fries, and French fries are delicious. You can't have Five Guys and a 6-pack. Maybe there's, you see all those ads that pop up. Maybe there's a way,
Now you're gonna get an ad that
take a pill or
shows
something
you.
like that. Yeah, it's gonna pop up. I don't know, but I'm just saying, just historically speaking, they say you're getting cut requires it happens in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you're not willing to hit that gym 4 or 5 times a week. You're not willing to eat chicken breasts and potatoes and broccoli and stay over and over and over again and drink protein shakes. No, you can't be fat and jealous of the skinny man if you're not willing to cut your calories. You can't be skinny and be jealous of the fat man if you ain't willing to eat more. Like, you have to be willing to do the thing in order to get what it is that you want. And if you're not getting the thing that you want and you're also not willing, go somewhere, sit down and shut up. Please go somewhere, sit down, and you can't look at somebody else's life and be like, oh man, they got everything that I want. And the whole time it's like, well, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
But you have to think about this girl. Calling CPS is not a joke.
Bruh, that's why I said it's got to be something behind it. It's got to be something. That's why
that's jumping a few levels.
If you want me to, only thing I can give to that is this is crazy because I don't have anything else behind that.
Because you didn't even talk to her parents. Like, to me, like, you should talk. If people like that usually start a rumor. And go and tell your parents, like, yo, this is what happened. This is what I witnessed. Right. Such and such and such. So that people could start doubting. And then you can be like, okay, well, what's happening? It was just a huge jump. It's crazy. There is an update. Not an update, but like she responds to a comment. Comment goes, I don't know how or if I would confront her. Where are your parents in all of this? Why aren't they giving her hell? But for sure, she would never be welcomed into my home again. And her relationship with my children would be completely over. And I mean completely. No calls, no texts, no visits, no interactions. No visiting with her at the parents. Nothing. You don't threaten my family and then have a relationship with them. I would be done. Personally, I think you should be done because you need to know that you can never, ever trust her again. Ever.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the part we're missing that glazed over. We are supposed to be answering that question. Mm-hmm. How should she approach her or should she approach her? It depends on their relationship. If she said they had a fantastic relationship, here's my problem with stuff like this, that level of dishonesty. One of two things is going to happen. Either A, she going to lie about it, or B, she going to double down and tell her the truth.
Well, you can find that she has an issue with it because she was calling to find out how it went. Then when she told her everything is fine, she went silent. So that just lets you know she wanted to blow her life up and she didn't. So now she's pissed. Right.
So I'm saying, like, that's why I'm saying, like, only one of those two things is going to happen. No, I didn't do that at all. What are you saying? I would never.
No, but I don't need you to even do that now.
Because she already knows.
I see what you
see how she moves.
Your reaction. You were like calling when you thought everything was a mess. And then when you realize the CPS worker said everything's fine and they're closing the case, you're gone again. That ain't right.
No, something else is going on there. And we don't have the detail on what happened. I wish we could get inside that sister's mind, but that's lunacy. And like I said, it seemed like jealousy where she might want the husband or she might want that her sister's life and she wants kids because there's no mention of her kids, right?
No, she has a fiance. So this is the girl's the OP's response. My parents aren't giving her hell yet because they've been trying to information gather from her while she's gone silent on me. I definitely plan to go no contact for a while. The sad part is she's been progressively unstable. She didn't talk about this.
Making some sense now.
And getting worse over the years. So she might need some like help, like psychiatric
something else
issues.
Is going on there. So crazy would be accurate.
Stuff. Right. I feel like I've lost my sister. This feels like a betrayal I'm not sure she can come back from without a lot of work on her end, and not anytime soon. I want to confront her and let her know that I know that this was her and that she put my kids at serious risk making baseless accusations, and that she will not be welcome at my son's birthday next week, and that she will not be welcome here for a long time. Yeah. So I think she needs some help.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? We saw a movie the other day, and I'm not proud to say I watched Tubi. But I did. I watched a little Tubi because normally it's like this stuff is bad and I don't like it. and whatever, we're not getting into that conversation, but my sister wanted me to watch this movie, and I don't really sit down with her and watch no movies, so I said, okay, fine, I'll sit down and watch this movie. And I'm sitting there, and this movie, this woman loses her mind, has this other character she creates to basically give her power back. Effectively, this makes me think of that because it's kind of like, it wasn't me who did that.
Well,
like
throughout
she
the
has a
entire
break.
movie, this is a freestanding, full-on character. Right? And then you only find out it's revealed later on that she's having a psychological break.
Yeah.
And it's a character that she created, and then you look back and you realize she's talking to herself.
Right. Well, I'm saying this is what this
is
crazy
what's
shit
probably
you feel
because
like.
this
It's
woman
like
probably felt that this is actually happening. It has to be in her mind.
Psychotic break that has occurred is what it seemed like. I'm no physician of any kind, but that's what that seems like to me. Like something is really wrong there. She needs some help. Maybe I'm not somebody who promotes, taking a whole bunch of medication to get yourself right, but something right there is not right.
She needs a diagnosis of something, first of all. Then we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, she need a little help, a little peace, a little God inside of her to fix whatever problem is going on there, because there is a problem. Don't know what it is or where it came from. I was trying to simplify this as being just jealousy, because it could have been just that, but this sounds like there's some mental health issues going on. Yeah, because now this person,
as a person who's dealt with jealousy in my life, unfortunately, there's more signs than this major thing. Yeah. It'll be little things first, and then you can piece it together and be like, oh wow. If you don't nip it in the bud, it just doesn't come from everything's great. We spent Christmas together. We're having a wonderful time. And then a CPS worker is called. That's too much of a jump.
Yeah. Unless information is missing. I need
it's
more
possible,
details.
but she painted it as
everything was great.
It's a beautiful
and then she
day.
flipped out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this lady's been secretly hating you for 20 years.
There would be evidence of that. Okay.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I'm kind of good on that. It's tough to. It's just literally crazy. It's tough to kind of be like to say how I feel about it, because of the simple fact that she is just there's no rhyme or reason behind the behavior. Seems really left field.
Right.
And yeah, all right, I'm good on it.
Okay, so next up, moving on.
Okay, I'm gonna pause right there. I do want you all to do me a favor. If you can, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share. If there's something that you want us to cover, you come across something, you experience something, definitely reach out to us on Unks in the Building, UNCSBU. Oh no, Lord, I messed up my own spelling. UNCS, Unks, NINTHEBUILDING. On Instagram. Unks in the Building. Everything is the same. Unks in the Building. Go there, message if you got a story or something you want to talk about, or you want us to talk about. But it'll be us talking, because we're gonna have a dialogue. Definitely do so, because I want you all to be a part of this journey I invited you on, so we can continue walking together. Definitely, please, and thank you for those who have already. Share this with your people, and let's continue together. Thank you so much for all of you all who've come, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.